I've come across, I think, the most perfect example of why writing advice should be taken with a grain of salt, because we are different people. Like, we're all different. We all have different understandings of the world and writing and whatnot. And sometimes you get a bit of advice and you shouldn't always take it in, right? Um, and my example comes from for self-editing for fiction writers. So I've been thoroughly enjoying this book. Like, do not get me wrong, thoroughly enjoying it. The vast majority of the advice I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, no, absolutely. Or even like the checklist, some of them I'm going to compile all of the checkpoints that I think are going to be really helpful into my own file for my own like self-editing. So a lot of this book has been really helpful and genuinely very well done. However, the said chapter, the dialogue tag chapter, really, I should say, but basically he says, say that you should always use said, or if you're doing like present tense, let's say, but said, you should always use said. You should not use any alternate words or adding the lys. And I've heard the don't use the ly words advice so many times, and I tend to agree. Like, there are other ways to put it, and you know, it can be said more elegantly. So like, you know, she said softly, she said quietly, you know, like those lys, a lot of the time they don't really add anything. So I understand dropping those. What I don't understand is he said, don't use asked. That was the first one that I was like, I take issue with that. No. If it's, where are you going? You don't say she said, you said she asked. It's important. It's important difference to me. It's important. And I think that asked is as invisible as said, because that's the argument for why you always use said. It's invisible. That's why you use it. But I think asked is like maybe a little less invisible, but not by much. So I'm like, I'm going to continue using ask for questions. Thank you very much. The other point of difference that I had is they stated that he grimaced, she smiled, and he chuckled are physically impossible. And while I agree that grimaced and smiled don't have that much effect on like vocal texture, he laughed and he chuckled and like those kinds of, she whispered, those kinds of ones, they change the texture of what is being said so dramatically that I think that when it's important, absolutely use those words. Whereas this one kind of had a blanket rule of just you said, it's implied. And I'm like, no. If it dramatically changes the texture of what is being said, then I am absolutely going to be still using those ed words. The whispered, the yelled, the snapped, all of those. I will still use those, but I will use those sparingly. And I think that's the advice that I'm taking, as opposed to never at all. Use them sparingly and where it's